stopping by Outdoors with Don and Bob. I wanted to take a minute today and do a review on a small two-man bass boat. This happens to be the Sun Dolphin, and I acquired this 2 years ago to use on small ponds and really small lakes where I didn't want to take the big boat. It works well for 2 people. It'll work well for 1. Maximum capacity on this, they say, fisherman gear, everything, 550 pounds. Bob and I probably stretch it right to the limit of that by the time we put our stuff in there with us, and we have never had any problems with it. This is the 8-foot model. I picked the 8-foot for really almost one reason. If you'll notice on the side comes up a good maybe 4 inches from the shelf down here. I knew the side shelves were going to be used a lot. That's where you're going to have to keep everything because you can't put stuff on the floor. The 10-foot model I looked at had a side that probably wasn't more than 1 inch or 1.5 inches tall. And I looked at that and I thought, you know what? Eventually something's going to get knocked off the side of the boat. Whether it's a tackle box or fishing rod or whatever. The high side here keeps everything in, a lot less chance for an accident to happen. And that's a lot of the reason why I picked this boat over the 10-footer. This boat weighs about 110 pounds. The 10-footer was heavier. At 110, I thought I want something I can get in and out of my pickup by myself. Right now I'd have to be sitting on a 4x6 trailer, and I will sometimes take it to town on that. But initially the idea was putting it in the pickup, and I thought the 110 pounds would be a little bit easier to handle than say 130 or 140 pounds. Basically, it comes 2 seats. As you can see, they slide on the rails. I've seen some other boats where the seats are locked into place, or where you might be able to adjust them a little, but basically they're almost like 2 pedestal seats. I like this, where you have 2 seats that slide and can be removed. Because when I'm fishing by myself, it's only got 1 seat. I don't have to climb over another seat to get in. And when I'm by myself, I can move the seat up quite a ways and then pull the handle out on the trolling motor, extend the handle, and now I can sit more in the center of the boat if I want to. You won't find any anchors. I don't have any anchors in here. What I do have, what I've usually done, my style of fishing really doesn't, an anchor isn't needed. Usually I'm working the shoreline. Sometimes I want to stop, and basically all I've used is plastic clamps. I buy them at a home improvement store for like $1.50, put a rope on them, tie them to the handle. I've got 2. You can either reach out and grab a tree limb, or you can go all the way around the trunk, come back on your rope and tie onto a tree that way. I put 1 on each side, and that pretty much has handled everything I've needed. In my case, I use a trolling motor at the back of the boat with my battery. It does have the wiring at the back. It goes inside the hull all the way to the front and pops out of here, and they give you a plug. Now, in this situation, you could have your motor in the back of the boat. You could put a depth finder on the front of the boat, plug it in right here, and the wiring is all inside, so you don't have wires to trip over, or you don't have to run a set of wires down the side. When it comes to cameras, I'm going to move around here a bit and move the camera. Turn it a little bit here. I put a mount in the back of the boat for one spot, and I put another mount in the front of the boat. What I've used, this is a floor flange. You'll find it in the plumbing section. This one happens to be 3/4 inch, and that's only because I had a lot of 3/4 inch PVC laying around. They also make it in a 1/2 inch. You can use it for that. Okay, what I did here is you can see the flange is screwed into the boat. I drilled 4 holes. I inserted these toggles. Basically, if you're putting in a drywall at your house, I inserted them in the hole and then basically used a screw to hold them into place. From this 3/4 flange, I then went with a 3/4 inch threaded piece, 3/4 inch threaded and glued, and then I have 3/4 inch PVC, and I just stick that right in the pipe. Now, once I have the pipe in place, I then took 3/4 inch cap. I drilled a hole through the cap, put a 1/4-inch bolt, put 2 nuts on it to hold it into place. That leaves me just enough thread to mount the camera, and that goes on here. I have this one at the back of the boat, and when I want to change the perspective, I'll just pull it out. If I can, I'm going to swing the camera. And then I'll come around to the front of the boat, and I'll mount it in the front of the boat. Let me show you how I store this. Okay, in this case, we're going to say I just got back to the lake. The boat's still sitting here on the trailer. I pulled it on the trailer, but it really doesn't matter if it was in the back of a pickup or on the trailer. It's going to be the same. I'll basically take the battery, I take the motors, I take everything out, leave the boat just as it is. And here's the way I store it. Basically, I just stand it up next to the wall, set a ratchet strap around it, and it's stored. Well, that about does it, guys. I am going to take tomorrow and take it out to do a little fishing, but most importantly, I want to check out my camera placements. Those are new for me for this coming year, and if I can, I'll throw in some little segments of showing what it looks like from the camera mounted on each location, so that way you'd have an idea for yourself. Well, that should do it. I hope the review helped you out a little bit if you're looking for a boat like this. I really like it. It'll take you about any place, any small boat will get there, and it's very stable. So it makes a nice boat for fishing out of. Thanks for stopping by. Subscribe to our channel if you would.